I'm Bella Webb, and I practice as a barrister at Old Square Chambers, where I specialise in both claimant and defendant clinical negligence. Today, I'm going to speak to you about claimant benevolence. What is it, when and how it can and should be used in practice? This topic was brought into focus again relatively recently, following the High Court decision last year in the case of Richins against Birmingham Women's and Children's NHS Foundation Trust, which I'll talk to you about a little bit later. I'm going to explain the facts of some of the cases in some detail. I appreciate that in some talks that can be a bit of a time waster, but here, as I hope you'll see, I think it's important because it does help to make sense of when claimants have been able to use benevolence to help them and when they haven't. So, what does benevolence actually mean? Well, the dictionary definition refers to a desire to do good unto others, as well as some act of kindness or charitable gift. One might have thought that that would be relatively easy to apply, but we work within an adversarial legal system where the parties are generally required to be on an equal footing, and so much depends upon when that act of kindness or charity comes into play. In this particular legal context, the term comes from the case of Keefe against the Isle of Man Steam Packet Company in 2010, so itself relatively recent in the grand scheme of things. It was a Court of Appeal case dealing with industrial deafness, and so not a clinical negligence case, but it must be our starting point. In my experience, benevolence for claimants is a frequently underused tool at the claimant's disposal to help overcome the burden of proof. There are relatively few cases in which its use has been reported. So let's look at the background of Keefe for the moment. It was a claim by a seaman for alleged exposure to excessive noise on board the defendant's ships.